You are constantly getting worked up and bothered by the things that people say or do to you, especially if they're unkind, because of what I like to call the 3 Ps. The first P is projection. If someone does something bad to you or behaves poorly, you go and think to yourself,
Oh, well, if I were in their shoes, I would have done that instead of this. If I were in their shoes, I would have never said that.
well, guess what? You are not in their raggedy ass shoes. You are not wearing the ugly ass Crocs that they're wearing. You're not wearing the weird Keds that they're wearing, looking like they're about to clock in for a shift at the hospital. You're not in their shoes. Projection is rooted in expectations, and expectations lead to disappointment. The second P is taking things personally. You think that what that person did to you had something to do with you, without realizing that every single person is in a relationship with themselves before they enter a relationship with you. So everything people do, from the way that they behave to the things that they say, is a projection of how they feel about themselves. And the third P is you feel the need to prove yourself. You think,
Oh, well, if they understand me, then they'll reconsider. If they only knew the real me, they would have never acted like this.
when you're trying to prove yourself to other people, what you're actually doing is asking for understanding. And when you ask for understanding, you're seeking permission to exist. You think to yourself, if they just understood this about me, then my truth would be valid and I would have permission to exist. And all 3 of these P's are rooted in control and ignorance. Control, because all these P's are based in fear. Fear that someone will misunderstand you. Fear that someone will treat you badly. And fear needs to be managed by control. And these 3 P's are rooted in ignorance, because nothing that a person does or says to you was even about you to begin with. But you might be too much of an ignoramus to understand that. And so you get triggered and bothered and worked up. And with that, DJ, hit the theme song. Let's give the girls an episode that they're gonna like. While you're listening to the theme song, think about this. The best revenge on your enemies is never becoming like them.
Rest in peace to the chicks that's dying to be me.
I'm going to discuss in detail what the best form of revenge is. But before we do that, it's really important to first understand why people want to trigger you to begin with. And it might help to have a certain person in mind, although this is not necessary. It could be a manager who gives you a hard time for nothing. It could be a friend who makes passive-aggressive remarks to you, or who pulls some mean girl crap like excludes you from things. It could be anyone. And whoever it might be, these people are energy vultures. They lack something. Their glass is empty. And the thing is, finding a constant source of filling your glass is tough. But what's easy is taking from someone else's glass. The only thing is, if you're going to take from someone else's glass, they have to let you. And that's exactly what these energy vultures are doing. Because when they get you worked up, when that jackass manager treats you poorly or gives you a bad performance review or tries to throw you under the bus in front of everyone, when your friend tries to exclude you from something or doesn't congratulate you on something, whatever it might be, these are all ways that they are triggering you so that they can get you to pour into their empty glass. And when you react, you've given them permission to take from you, to take from your glass. And not only that, you are literally pouring into their glass yourself, because you're playing right into their hands. And the reason these losers want to trigger you, the reason they pull these shenanigans, and if they shenan once, they're gonna shenan again. The reason they do all of these things is because they're trying to humble you or get a rise out of you, or I should say, or get a rise out of you. And these are both ways of trying to punish you. Not because you did anything wrong, They're punishing you because you have something that they wish they had. You have something that they lack. And it's easier for them to treat you like crap, try to humble you, get a rise out of you, get you worked up, triggered, angry, upset, doubtful. It's easier for them to do all of these loser things than it is for them to go out and get the thing that it is that they want. And when you react, you show them that they were worthy of that. You think when you react that you're gonna have the upper hand, or that you're gonna say something and you're gonna crush their ego and you're gonna make them regret, oh, I'll show them. No, you're not. You look goofy as hell. And what you're actually doing when you react is you're showing them that they are worthy of your energy. You're taking your glass and pouring into theirs. You're giving them exactly what they want. Like, do you really think you're gonna get even with them because they acted like an asshole, so you're gonna act like an asshole pro max and try to get even Steven? No, you look goofy as hell. And let me give you an example. This is a textbook example of what I'm discussing. If you've listened to some of my more recent episodes, this might be familiar because I've discussed this before. A few months ago, I was getting ready to compete at the Canadian Powerlifting National Championships. This is the highest level of powerlifting in Canada, and it's kind of a big deal. So every year, my powerlifting team and I, we gather all the people who are competing and we book an Airbnb together, we get the rental cars, we do all the joint things for the accommodation together because there's usually a handful of us who are competing. This year, it ended up being only 4 of us girls and a couple of the guys. And we decided to do a girls' Airbnb. We did this a couple of years ago as well when it was mostly girls competing. It was super fun. It was like a girls' trip. So we decided to do it again, although this time it was with a few of the other girls on the team. So we're like, great, let's do a joint Airbnb. I was talking to my friend about it, one of my close friends, and we're like, okay, let's do this. So a few weeks go by since my friend and I had that conversation. Let's call her Drizella. That is one of Cinderella's ugly stepsister's names. If you watch Girly Love Power number 34, which is the episode directly preceding this one, you'll know that I talked about another janky story I had with an ex-friend. I named her Anastasia after Cinderella's other ugly stepsister. So we gotta go with the theme. And fun fact, Victimella was actually inspired by Cinderella. She's one of my recurring characters for anyone who's new here. Anyways, back to Drizella. So a few weeks go by since Drizella and I had that conversation that we should do a joint Airbnb with me, her, and the other girls. And so I think it was the end of December, beginning of January, I check in with her. For reference, the competition was in the beginning of March. So I check in with her. I'm like, hey, Drizella, have you booked anything yet? Or are you still good for the girls' Airbnb? It's getting close to the competition. We should book everything and not pull a straight man and, have everything booked like the week before. And she doesn't answer. I'm like, okay, weird. And not like she doesn't answer as in she took a few hours. She did not answer me for several days. So I sent her a follow-up message. I'm like, hey, it's getting into crunch time. Like, girl, what's up? Like, Drizella, we gotta get moving on this. And then she answers me and she's like, oh, me and Anastasia booked an Airbnb. I'm like, what? And fun fact, I'm not just saying Anastasia because I'm trying to get all the ugly stepsisters' names. This is the Anastasia from my previous story. Yeah. So I don't know what they were doing behind the scenes, but Drizella and Anastasia booked an Airbnb without me. And I was confused. I'm like, okay, there's one other girl. There's 4 of us. So Drizella, Anastasia, Nikki the baddie, and somebody else. Like, did they exclude her too? No. Turns out they all booked it together. Drizella and Anastasia were the ringleaders. And they basically decided to just let me out and die. So, to make a long story short, I'm not going to go into all the details about like the conversation I had with her after, but I made the unilateral decision to end the friendship right then and there. I'm like, literally, this is embarrassing for you. This is pathetic. Goodbye. Rest in peace. Like, RIP to the chicks that's dying to be me. However, we got a lot of mutual friends. I have a lot of powerlifting friends. So I had to cross paths with both Anastasia and Drizella a few weeks after this betrayal happened. Now, the first thing that we need to talk about in the context of this episode is that them excluding me, especially Drizella, because Anastasia was already my ex-friend at this point. I hadn't talked to this girl in like a year. Drizella never congratulated me on releasing my book, never checked in on my podcast. When we would hang out together, there was never like, oh, how's your podcast going? Oh, you quit your full-time corporate job to pursue this. How's that going? Never. Nothing like that. Would never like any of my stuff, would never ask about it, just pretended none of it existed. And for reference, I have friends who have my post notifications turned on so they can go and support my stuff as soon as I post them. And then I have friends who pretend that my work doesn't exist. So I put two and two together and realized that this girl was acting like this probably as a way to humble me and to pull some mean girl crap because she felt some type of way. So instead of working on herself, maybe doing whatever it is that she needs to make herself feel happy and fulfilled in her life and fulfilled with herself, she decided to try and punish me and pull some stunt to exclude me as if she's 12 years old. Now, like I said, we have mutual friends, and not too long after this shenanigan happened was my friend's bridal shower. And y'all know me by now. Like, I'm always looking cute. I'm always in a dress, nice purse, cunty heels. I was wearing my cuntiest stilettos. I was just killing it, as I always do. And when Drizelda and Anastasia walk in, obviously they are super weird and awkward. And while I'm out there mingling with everybody, having a good time, talking to strangers I've never met, talking to friends I haven't seen in a while, and just enjoying myself, they sat in a corner the entire time and refused to interact with anybody besides each other. Like, it was super embarrassing. At one point, I even sat next to them and started talking to somebody else across from me. Like, I don't care. Now, why am I bringing up this story? First of all, it is a textbook case of how people want to trigger you and punish you and humble you and try to get you to pour into their empty, cracked, raggedy glass. But also, it shows what the best type of revenge is. Because I didn't confront them. I said my piece after Drizelda backstabbed me and pulled her shenanigan. I told her it's super disrespectful. I would have never expected that from somebody who's a close friend of mine, and I was really disappointed in her. And I told her, like, this is it. And I said my piece, but I never retaliated. I didn't post some passive aggressive story. I didn't do anything to try to get even Steven. What I did do was be completely and utterly unbothered, because they're trying to do these things, especially Drizelda. Anastasia is kind of a different story because we're not really friends. Drizelda is trying to do this. I'm thinking of Griselda Blanco. Drizella is trying to do this to get a rise out of me, to punish me, because she's essentially saying, hey, I see everything you're doing. I see you grinding. I see you putting yourself out there. I see you getting hate. I see you getting love. I see you getting support. And it makes me feel some type of way. And it makes me feel crappy and insecure about myself. I'm not going to work on myself, but I'm going to try to make you feel as crappy as I feel about my own self. That's what she was trying to do. So if I had reacted, I would have brought myself down to her level. And I can't put myself in your shoes. I can't put myself in your Crocs. I'm sorry. I am wearing stilettos and I look super cunty. Like, I cannot walk a mile in your Crocs. Okay? I can't do that. So the best type of revenge, not only is it to never be like your enemies because those people are pathetic. It's to be completely and utterly unbothered, babes, to the point where I sat down next to the people who treated me like garbage and went about my day, went about my conversation with somebody else. I sat down next to them. At one point, we had a party game and we had to switch cards with somebody to grade our answers. I sat down next to Drizella and I'm like, do you want to switch with me? Do you want to grade my card? And she was super awkward. And you know what she said to me? I already switched with so-and-so, so I can't do it again. As if the teacher was going to come and punish her. So the best form of revenge, and the only form of revenge, is to be unbothered. Because what is the opposite of being unbothered? It's being triggered. Being triggered by what they did to you. Because that was their goal. They treated you badly to trigger you. To get you to be the opposite of unbothered. To get you to be hot and bothered and annoyed and worked up so that you can pour from your full glass into their empty glass. Being unbothered is the best form of revenge because it is a psychological trigger. It is literally a psychological form of pulling an Uno reverse on the loser who tried to humble you to begin with. Hey baddies, quick intermission here. As you probably know, this show is entirely independently produced by me. I am the producer, the director, the writer, the researcher, the fact checker, the marketing executive, and the unpaid intern who gets everyone coffee. Not to be confused with the unpaid intern of the patriarchy. And this is independently produced because I am committed to giving you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And it's because of support from baddies like you who subscribe to my Patreon that I can continue delivering the truth and not censoring myself and tiptoeing around topics that are way too important to ignore, but are kind of scary if you are signed to a label or a production company. And of course, I make it worth your while. I'm not just saying, please go subscribe to my Patreon, man, please. You'll get tons of perks. I have a private phone line that you'll get the number to, and you can call me pretty much anytime. I'll answer if I'm free. And you also get other perks like early and ad-free releases of my episodes, bonus episodes, voting power on my girly laws, handwritten letters from me, and a bunch of other perks. Check it out for yourself. The link is in the show notes. And again, thank you all so much for your continued support and to my continued promise of giving you the whole truth independently without having to tiptoe around anything. Your support means the world to me. All right, back to the show. Because what you're doing, and you've probably guessed this by now, is you're withholding what they want most. Just like the bully you probably had when you were a kid, the bully in elementary school who tried to pick on you and tried to get you to cry or scream or retaliate so she can go to the teacher and be like, teacher, see what she did? She hit me, she yelled at me, she called me a jerk, whatever. I don't know what swear words kids call each other these days, but you know what I mean. We've all had a bully in elementary school who wanted to get a rise out of us, and chances are we retaliated or we just simply stood up for ourselves. And we got in trouble for it. And when you went home and told your parents about it, they probably said, ignore her, she's jealous of you, don't give her any attention, all the things you didn't want to hear. You wanted your mom to tell you to go sock this girl in the face. And I'm going to tell you the same thing that your mom told you 20, 30, 50 years ago. But I'm going to tell this to you and explain it in a better way, because as kids, you can't really grasp what it means to ignore someone. You can't grasp why somebody would be jealous of you. And we usually use the word jealous when we mean envious. Envy is wanting something somebody else has. Jealousy is being afraid of losing something you already have. The example I like to use, if you've read my book, this is familiar to you. If you're at the gym and you see a woman with your dream physique, you'll feel envious of her. If she starts flirting with your partner, that's when you start to feel jealousy. So back to what I was saying, when you are unbothered, you're withholding the thing that Drizella, that Anastasia wants most from you, which is a reaction. They just want to know that what they said or did got to you. Even if you turn around and tell her that she is a fugly slut, the baddies who are Mean Girls fans will know this reference. Whatever, if you say that to her, if you say anything, you tell her, hey, your mom's a hoe, hey, you're the ugliest person I know, hey, you're misshapen and stupid and la 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 la. Whatever you say, you can tell her the most hurtful thing in the world, and that will still make her happier than if you were to not react at all. And you know why? Because your reaction is a form of validation. In the same way that you probably have this need to prove yourself to other people and to be understood by everyone, because that's your way of getting validation that your truth is real and that you have permission to exist. In the same way you're seeking that validation, they're seeking validation from you, just in a different form, in a different font. And even if you act like an asshole pro max when they were acting like an asshole, you still gave them the validation. The only way to withhold the validation is to give them no response. And you know what happens when you give no response? Strategic silence or strategic absence, whatever works in your context, withholding your presence and your words is a form of power. And people tend to fill in the gaps with negativity. Because what you've done when you've declined to react, you're leaving it up to their interpretation. And so a million things are going to go through their mind. Oh, does she even read my message to begin with? Like if she sent you a rude message, for example. Oh, does she even hear me? Oh, does she even know I was trying to do this? There's so many ambiguities that are floating around that person's head. And that's what gets them 10 times worse, not even 10 times, 100 times worse. This is a scientific number, 100 times worse than reacting. And if you actually want strategies of dealing with people like this, still being unbothered, but dealing with them in an effective way without arguing or making yourself look goofy, go listen to Girly Law Power number 34, the episode directly preceding this one. That will tell you everything you need to know. That law is called never argue, make them look stupid instead. It's a great law. It's a great law. No one could do that law better than me. Go listen to it if you want, okay? What I will mention here is that being unbothered is not just a mindset, it's a way of being. And it starts with how you feel about yourself, how much you love yourself, what your relationship with yourself looks like. If you're happy and comfortable with your own presence, if you're okay with being alone. Remember, being alone does not mean you are lonely. You can't truly be unbothered if you don't have a good relationship with yourself. Like I said, the opposite of being unbothered is being triggered. And these people who are trying to trigger you are also triggering themselves because they are trying to distract themselves from their own relationship with themselves. And that's why I mentioned in Girly Law 34 to act as a mirror. One of the best ways to teach someone a lesson is to make them face themselves. Because anyone who goes out of their way to hurt you hates themselves first. They already are hurting so much themselves. Like, I would almost feel pity for these people. I would almost feel pity for any loser who tries to hurt me, because it just shows how much they are hurting. Like, being in their mind, being in their condition must be so miserable, it must be so terrible, it must be so draining and exhausting. Oh my God. I almost feel pity for these people. But I don't. Gotcha. I do not feel pity for anybody who goes out of their way to hurt me. I don't feel pity for anyone who goes out of their way to hurt anybody else. I don't care. And the last thing I will do is feel pity for a person who is completely capable of fixing themselves. In the same way that I will never, ever feel pity for a man, especially an able-bodied, self-sufficient man, I will never, ever, ever feel pity for a miserable woman either. I do not feel pity for bum bitches. I do not feel pity for incels. I do not feel pity for anyone, period. Period. I can feel empathy. I can feel a little bit of empathy for these losers, but that's pretty much it. And that empathy doesn't go too far, because as soon as I see your ugly ass Crocs, I'm like, I'm out. Done. Bye-bye. So To be truly unbothered, like I said, is a way of being. And it's rooted in what I like to think of as the need for zero. Zero need to be understood. Zero need to be fulfilled by somebody else. Zero need for validation from others. Zero need for anything external to you. Because all those things that you are seeking externally, the validation, the permission to exist, all of that should be coming from you. And when you seek those things externally, in a way, you're doing the exact same thing that the Drizellas and the Anastasias of the world are doing to you. Because when they're trying to get you triggered and worked up, they're trying to seek validation from you in the form of your reaction. See where I'm going with this? When the revolution comes, y'all are going to realize I was right about everything all along. So whenever you have a need for getting something externally that you should be getting yourself, or giving to yourself, I should say, you are being desperate, you're being easy to control, easy to manipulate, and you are being reactive. And these are all states of being. These are all things that make you leak power. Because here's the thing, baddies. When someone treats you badly, they've actually transferred their power to you. They've told you exactly how they feel about themselves, how they feel about you, what their insecurities are, and how you trigger those insecurities. They've surrendered way more information than they even know. So I'm going to leave on that note. When people treat you badly, they've surrendered their power and given it to you. If you want to dive deeper into a lot of the things I said, because honestly, I can make this episode a 5-part series if I wanted to, but I've already done so many episodes on the things I've touched on. So I will direct you to other places that might help you. If you want to listen to the podcast, Girly Loft Power number 4, never take anything personally. Girly Loft Power number 6, to succeed at anything, you need to be emotionally detached. And Girly Loft Power number 32, stop trying to be understood by everyone. And like I mentioned, Girly Loft Power number 34, never argue, make them look stupid instead. And if you have my book, then Patriarchy Hacks 4 and 6, they're the same as my girly laws. Number 4, never take anything personally. Number 6, be detached. Those are more updated and revised versions of the girly laws on the podcast. So if you have my book, you have a better version of those laws in your hands. In the meantime, don't forget that you are the baddest bitch in any building that you set foot in. Until next time, stay bad. Love you. Bye. All right, it's time to run through all my shout outs of the bad bitches supporting on Patreon. I changed accents. Shout out to Kate, Danny, Lindsay, Emberly, Brittany, Hannah, Shara, Amanda, Adriana, Mina, Gemma, Katia, May, Naomi, Nilufar, Adelaide, Nadia, Faith, Amy, Melinda, Sophia M, Sophia K, Jada, Amara, and Kat. Thank you, baddies, so much for your support.
Rest in peace to the chicks that's dying to be me.